Let's look at a sampling device. Samplers share the same DNA as your DAW. What that means is that if my DAW is running at 44,100 samples per second, my sampling device, which is a plug-in, will be able to sample audio at 44,100 samples per second. Samplers originated as hardware devices and have turned into plug-ins in our DAWs. I'll open up a track and put a sampler across that track. My sampler is called Structure Free. Structure Free opens up with a sound in it already. It's a sine tone. I'll go in and remove that patch. I will take my current vocal piece and I will export that vocal piece out to the desktop. I already did that. Let me look for it on the desktop. There it is. I'm going to pull that into my sampler. My sampler has now loaded that voice into a module in Structure Free. Structure Free doesn't give you a great depiction of what's going on with your audio waveform the way Pro Tools does. Some samplers do. You can actually see the waveform inside the sampler just like this. I don't believe I can do that with Structure Free. Now this sample's not playing, and just to not distract us, I'll get that out of the way. I have a keyboard plugged up to my sampler, and if I hit C3 I should hear that voice.
Wanna get to know.
If I go up a half step to C sharp 3, I should hear that voice up a half step.
Wanna get to know.
If I go to D,
Wanna get to know.
D sharp,
Wanna get to know.
E,
Wanna get to know.
F,
Wanna get to know.
F sharp,
Wanna get to know.
G,
Wanna get to know.
G sharp,
Wanna get to know.
A,
Wanna get to know.
A sharp,
Wanna get to know.
B,
Wanna get to know.
and C.
Wanna get to know.
That's a whole octave.
Wanna
I have a range from C minus 2 to G8. I have a pretty short keyboard here, so my lowest note.
Wanna get to know.
In this particular 2-octave keyboard is like that, but then if I drop it down by an octave, I can go even lower. Or I can go up even higher if I go up 2 octaves. Now, if you notice something, the time is changing. If I go to my default C3,
Wanna get to know.
that will be in tempo with the composition. So I could literally record, and let me get my transport and open my transport up, set up a recording.
Wanna get to know. Wanna get to know. Wanna get to know.
Go in and quantize those bits that I just recorded. Select them and quantize them. And if I listen to them, they should be beating in time.
Wanna get to know. Wanna get to know.
Now, if I change the pitch of those samples and go up by a half step, 1 semitone, listen to the timing of that phrase now.
Wanna get to know. Wanna get to know. Wanna get to know.
I'll go up even further. I'll go up by a minor third, by 3 half steps. Listen to the phrase again. Listen to the timing of that phrase against the click.
Wanna get to know. Wanna get to know. Wanna get to know.
The start time is in time. I have a start time at bar 2, a start time at bar 3, and a start time at bar 4. What's not in time is the entire phrase. A sampler can only lock the start time of a phrase. So the beginning of these phrases is definitely in time, but then as the phrase performs, the time has modified. The shorter the phrase, The higher the pitch, the longer the phrase, the lower the pitch. Let's listen to this one more time.
Wanna get to know. Wanna get to know.
A lot of time between phrases. I'll lower the pitch now, and you'll see that there's a lot of length, and they'll start to spill over into each other because the length of the phrase is elongated. The pitch of the phrase will get lower. And we've got something a little bit bizarre happening with our sampler now.
Wanna get to know. Wanna get to know. Wanna get to know.
I should be able to make it spill right on top of each other.
Wanna get to know. Wanna get to know.
Oh, I actually have a stop time. Let's go in there and elongate that time a little bit on all of my phrases so they'll kind of spill into each other. Let's elongate this one also.
Wanna get to know.
And it got a little bit too long on that first one because it interrupted the start time of the second one. If I go in and look at another window for editing the MIDI event list and look at the duration and change this first duration to 1 beat, actually just slightly less than 1 beat, and change this one to 1 beat, and change this one to 1, well that's actually 1 bar, sorry, 1 bar. That should allow them to play. Let's
Wanna get to know. Wanna get to know. Wanna get to know.
It's got no bearing to anything musical that I might do in a composition. I'm just showing this to you. An octave will be down an entire octave, and the timing should be relative. Let's see what the time sounds like.
Wanna get to know. Wanna get to know. Wanna get to know.
Did you see how that felt like it was in time? I've actually come down to a second relative time base. The octaves will be the same note, and it will be half time, exactly half time. So if my tempo is at 92, that wanna get to know is performing at, what would that be, 46 beats per minute. And if I went up an octave, it would be performing at 184, and it would sound like it's kind of in my time base also. Really cool concept. There are samplers that can do time compression expansion, where as the length changes, the pitch does not change. I'll show you how to do that in the DAW itself in another section.